Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of American Odds, the American Gods recap show. I'm Tom Bennis, and with me, as usual, is my buddy Cal, the
Hello,
creator.
hello. What's going on?
Not much, man. I finally got your title right for the show. So this episode was called "A Prayer for Mad Sweeney," which he's one of my favorite actors in the show. Yet we didn't see a lot of him in this episode.
We were praying for it.
We were praying to see him. Anyway, before we get too started, like always, I would like to say hello to everyone in the chat. So, hello, Tina. Thanks for coming by. Joe, Ashley, Mac, Corey, and thanks, Kimber. Thanks for showing up.
I think Joe was here too, right? Did you say Joe?
Yeah, I'll say Joe again. But, so, what I guess let's talk about like overall feelings for this episode. By the way, this is for episode 7, Prayer for Mad Sweeney of American Gods, and we do talk spoilers. So if you are just joining us, you have been warned. But overall, what did you think?
I mean, I really liked it. Like I said, I would like to have more of Matt Sweeney in it, like his origin story and stuff. But like, I'm a sucker for those characters, kind of like that Jamie Lannister type character who kind of has some redemption later. And I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but there are some good moments in this episode. And I told you, like I was starting to latch on to Matt Sweeney as my favorite character for the show, and it really kind of cemented it after this episode for what I saw of him. I really wish it was more, but.
So I know one of the complaints I've been having recently with the show is like last week didn't have a Coming to America, and the week before was another kind of segment, and this whole episode was kind of like a Coming to America,
Right?
With little bits of the current timeline spread out with it, and but we do open in the mortuary with Jaquel and Ibis. So, what did you think of this?
Oh, yeah. So I was wondering where this was going, but then I guess, it kind of led into, I know you said it a few episodes ago. I think it was in the episode I wasn't there, I think. Or maybe I was there. But he was the guy writing the books, and you definitely, see it there where he goes, I got some work. You got some work to do. I'll take care of this. And, I mean, there's not much more I can say about that, but, it was interesting to see. The one complaint I did have, it's a stupid ass complaint, but at the end of the episode, it doesn't spoil anything. But you know how he's writing in the book, and after he finishes it, he kind of just closes the book almost immediately. Doesn't the ink need to dry?
He blew on it,
Kimber says he blew on it and stuff. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but I don't think
the whole, like, if he was narrating the whole. Oh no, my notes. They're so important. If he was narrating the whole show, I feel like I'd feel differently about this episode. But I felt like a lot of this about this episode was really distracting. I think the music choices for in the flashback sequences were a little weird. It was really just a lot of it was very distracting.
Actually, I was gonna comment that I really liked the music this episode. I mean, it was kind. I mean, it being like a period thing, where she's in England and back and all that. I liked some of that, like English, Irish music that they played, like those little ditties and stuff like that. That was great. But also, I like kind of how they interspersed with like I love like the doo-wop music. Like I love all that kind of music. It was kind of weird to have it there, but I just liked it. I enjoyed it for some reason. I don't know. I really liked this episode for some reason.
Yeah, I didn't, but that's fine. Did you like that he kind of highlighted what he was going to be talking about in the beginning when he's talking about the beer? The beer was an Irish red ale.
Oh, I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah. But so we keep talking about this origin story, and it takes place in 1721, following a girl named Essie McGowan, who was called Essie Tregowan in the book.
Yeah.
I don't know why they changed it. In the book, she's definitely in it. But I didn't really remember her because she's just mentioned as how Mad Sweeney got there wasn't this much focus on her, and I did like they started up like introducing her saying she's like this curvy, like I forget exactly, but we've seen like the actress naked already, and we know she's just kind of a twig, which is fine. But like, don't lie to us. We already know what she looks like. I don't know. I thought it was super distracting having her play two different characters. Her accent was super bad. Kimber describes it as Cameron Diaz's accent from Gangs of New York.
Totally.
I forgot how it was.
Not good is how it was.
Well, what was even funnier is how Bryan Singer, and not to get too ahead of ourselves, but he does those recaps at the end. And he's like, she's so good at accents.
Yeah.
No, Brian Fuller. Sorry, Bryan Singer's the X-Men guy. / Superman. But so pretty much she is like the servant girl at this like noble house, and she was told all these fables about the Fae and like leprechauns and stuff like that. And usually I try to go into like stuff that they talk about on the show, but I felt like they did such a good job kind of telling you about the Fae and like the different kinds and the banshees and all like that like I don't really need to. I thought that was one thing that this episode did do really well, was explain what exactly like the Fae are and how they work. So that was interesting. But yeah, she gets a gift, and then someone says she steals it, and her rich noble lover denies giving it to her, so she gets thrown on a boat for transportation for 7 years.
That's like the sentence they give you, like you transport you to somewhere and you become an indentured servant to whoever the highest bidder.
Right away, I had a comment on the boats that they were using.
I also have, go ahead.
Why was the transportation scene so much worse than the slavery boat?
Exactly what I was gonna say. Because as soon as I saw this scene, I thought of what Candace said when we watched the Anansi episode, and I was thinking like, wow, like this is so much worse than what the slaves went through. Like slaves had like space and all that. They weren't like you didn't get the same like feeling as, well, I guess the boat was docked in the Anansi one, right? It was docked. So you didn't get the rocking and the water coming and all that. I'm sure they probably experienced that, but it definitely seemed like a lot more cramped, where there are like 6 of them in a one cell like that. They weren't really chained, but there were 6 of them in a cell, so they're more cramped and stuff. So
yeah, and there was some sick crew members for sure. You know what I mean? Like it's just, for one thing, they called themselves out. They're like, and the transportation ships were packed like slavers, and we're like, excuse me. Few episodes, it looked very spacious.
Right.
That. So I don't know. I had a problem with that.
I would be interested to see what Candace has to say about this, but I don't think she's here yet.
Candace is gonna probably side with Tom in this one.
Yeah. I don't think she's caught up yet. I know she's had a lot of work lately. But I'm excited to talk to her about it. So let's see. What do I got here? Why is she Laura? Oh, that's just my notes. But so. She tells this one story, and I guess this is how she first like makes Mad Sweeney's acquaintance, because you never see him, but it's kind of, you know, she says the leprechaun, and the only leprechaun we know of is Sweeney, correct?
Sweeney.
So she's wandering around lost for 3 hours, and I guess she had bread on her this whole time, and so she takes the bread. I like this line. She said she swallowed her hunger. So she takes the bread and she places it on a rock, takes a nap. And then when she wakes up, she can see the lighthouse, like it's right there. So either the leprechaun is responsible for the fog and the reason why she's lost in the first place, or the leprechaun helped her get somewhere. The wind blows both ways with them.
Right, they said that.
There's a lot of cool things that we did get to like hear about the Fae. I feel like this was the most immersive mythological episode we had so far, and I guess it's maybe because they took the time to focus on one. But at the same time, it kind of, this like, maybe it's because I'm used to Game of Thrones, but like the episodes right before the finale are always like the most, like I was expecting like a lot of conflict in this episode, and to focus on something that wasn't so focused upon on the book kind of, I don't know. It just kind of takes me out of it. But maybe like I shouldn't compare shows, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean with Game of Thrones.
Now that you said that though, like I actually thought of this when I was watching the show again on the second time watching it around. the episode before the series finale of Lost was just like this, where they had like the whole show's about the island, right? But the episode before it was like a history of two characters that make up that that brought us to where we are today, kind of thing. So it was just very similar to that, and I really thought of that, and I really love that episode of Lost, and I really I guess that's why probably maybe why I like this episode, even though it's not the finale of the it's a season finale coming up, but that was for the series finale. So
real quick, looking in the chat, and thanks again for everyone showing up tonight. It's great to see you all. Corey says that Audrey might be one of his favorite supporting characters, and I completely agree. I think Audrey was one of the best actresses. Yep, Kimber, I see Kimber agrees in the chat, and she just told me that right next to me. Joe still thinks that Dane Cook hooking up with Laura is just gross.
It's not his dick. Dickgate.
By the way, I'm going to be bringing up that dick later.
oh yes,
because I didn't see it, but we'll get over there. So Oxford dude. Oh, okay. So she does this transportation thing, and like as soon as she lands, in America, she like convinces the captain to fall in love with her, and they go back. And this is the beginning of the many gratuitous SE sex scenes. S scenes? I don't know. Like, yeah, she was a prostitute in the book, but again, she wasn't so focused upon that it became like her just screwing every dude for like every 10 minutes.
right.
That's a prayer for
Essie's vagina.
yes. It's better when you say it. So yeah, so they marry and they get back to his place, and he has to go back to sea right away. And as soon as he leaves, she just steals all the shit. Classic, cool. I like that. I did get a big vibe, like Kimber was saying with the Cameron Diaz,
It's
like Gangs of New York
vibe for sure.
In the end, I felt like a very Titanic vibe, but we'll get there.
Do you think, I know we're all in the chat, and a lot of people are talking about why they used Emily Browning for both characters. Do you think it had to, for what, I know, without giving away what happens a little bit later, do you think it was for that?
I'm wondering if they're trying to imply something more, because we see another actress recycled in this episode. If you remember,
the old lady?
When the little kid, when she's a little girl and her grandmother's telling her about the mound and everything, that grandmother plays the older version of her. So is it implying that this face runs in this genetic? And
I hated that too.
And yeah, that I don't understand
really
why they had to recycle actresses. It was distracting. I'm like, okay, where are we now? Like, is it implied that is Laura part of this long line of McGowans? I don't think that's necessary.
I don't think that is. I think it was just honestly, I think it's from what the producer said. I think that's all there was.
It's not even like they're the same person. Like, Laura believes in nothing, and Essie at least believes in the Fae, and it obviously pays off. Like her she never gets caught until she forgets to feed them, which we see later. And speaking of Laura, we get back to the cab.
Look what Joe said.
What did Joe say?
Well, Joe says he thinks it's through Sweeney's perception. That's why you're seeing it as Laura.
Yeah, like he's like imprinting.
He's projecting Essie as being Laura, kind of like just because that's who he's.
Yeah, again, like maybe, but there's not like a single characteristic they share for her to remind.
And also,
him of her.
The mortician is narrating the story or writing the story. So
there
if
you
anything,
go.
Right.
It's the narrator. So is the narrator thinking about Laura during this? That doesn't make any sense either.
He does say it reminds me of the story of Essie McGowan.
I don't know. I did like her leading like breadcrumbs for him, like across the sea.
Like literally.
Literally. I thought that was interesting. And he kept following her around even when after she came to America, because she shows back up in London later. But why do we need all these flies? I get it. She's dead.
I think it's supposed to be humorous or like just her little gag that she has, but I don't. We get it. She's dead.
Yeah, like at this point, it should have a name. You know what I mean?
And
It's like her little sidekick fly dude.
and you notice that no one ever says anything about her arm. Like she's wearing like cut off sleeves, right? Like basically like what I have right now, right? And she's like there's a giant scar there, and no one says anything.
Yeah, I mean, if I saw somebody with a big gnarly scar like that, I probably wouldn't say anything either.
Nobody even looks at it.
Yeah, no, that's true, and no one acknowledges her smell except for Sweeney that one time. Not Sweeney. I'm sorry.
Shadow.
No, it was Odin.
Shadow said something too, I think.
But
no
maybe
one who's not a main character.
Odin said it smelled like cat piss and oven cleaner though, so that was very specific. That's why I remember Odin, but I'm sure other people have complimented it. But yeah, come in the book, everyone's always like, "Oh God," like she has to be like, "Oh, I'm sick," like, sorry. Like I think she ends up taking. I don't know if she'll ever work anywhere, but she ends up taking like the graveyard shifts. She has to, so people can't see her. But that's why there's no decay. Like
Yeah.
I like the nod to Death Becomes Her a few episodes back, but it's like half of the appeal to Laura in the books was that she like there was like a time, like there was no like resurrection in the future. Like she doesn't have much time in the world because things decompose. She has to be. I do like the ice cream truck thing, and
Yeah.
we'll get there. So we see a crow watching Sweeney pee, and he's talking to him, obviously telling Odin, you know, he's got this. You'll see him at the House on the Rock, which we keep hearing about. It's a place which we find out is in Wisconsin, and they pretty much free the cabbie. They're like, it's in Wisconsin, go.
Well, she did.
She did, yeah. Matt Sweeney didn't want to, but
The second he like gave away where he was, she told the guy.
yeah.
And he goes, "You are a very unpleasant person," or something like that. That was funny. About Matt Sweeney.
No, you are an unpleasant creature. Which
Creature,
I thought
yeah.
was really funny because he's a leprechaun.
I love Sweet.
So we cut back to Essie. And
Oh wait, was there any significance to that bull that they're looking at? Because doesn't that look a lot like the bull that he sees in his dreams? That was also going to be in the upcoming.
Buffalo.
It's a buffalo, and maybe
And it was named Tatanka, something Tatanka, which is also a wrestler.
he is a wrestler.
Yes.
The wrestler is actually the god in this universe.
Well, no. Well, the thing is, Tatanka is from the Lakota tribe, and they said something about Lakota in the episode as well. So.
No, it is a Lakota god or deity, and possibly, maybe, who knows? I mean, the buffalo also that Shadow sees also has flaming eyes. Does that mean it's the Ifrit or the Jinn? Maybe. I don't know. I could just be throwing that off to distract you. So she gets arrested because she stops praying and she gets caught. Conveniently, she's put in a cell right next to Mad Sweeney. Unless Mad Sweeney broke into that prison just to talk to her. Which would be okay, I guess.
Well, for the good fortune to happen, does he need to be in the vicinity, or does he need to have something happen? Like, how's that work?
I mean, at this point, when he's in the jail cell back in the day, in the 1700s, I would assume he has the coin. So I don't know how he would have gotten arrested unless, I don't know. Unless at this point, maybe he doesn't have it. Maybe it's like another item he gets later.
Yeah, that was confusing.
You know, you're gonna talk about what they talked about during the episode, or are you going on to the next scene?
What did you tell me? What did I forget?
No. I was gonna say because he talked about he used to be like give gold to the king and like you should do it in America, but then he goes, what he saw in the fire, he saw his father, he saw his death or something. So do you want to go now? I know you sent it like a few episodes. I think in episode 2 you mentioned like who Matt Sweeney is. So do you want to say it again for the new viewers that are just catching it now, or?
I mean, Mad Sweeney traditionally, I can't pronounce his name unless I have it in front of me, but there's plenty of good resource videos besides our recap show online about it. but he's kind of this mythological king. Like he was this awesome warrior, and he becomes cursed, and he has to like walk the land until he dies, which I think they kind of got right in this. You know what I mean? Like he's owed a fight, and he's done walking around. I don't know. I like that. I think they did a good job on Matt Sweeney. I don't know if that's because they spent so much time on him this episode, or they just paid it off really well because of.
Did they spend so much time on him?
They spent on the lore of him, not so much. Like he didn't get much face time, but his lore, there was a lot about him. You know what I mean? But yeah. So she gets transportation again and then sent to Virginia.
But she's pregnant this time
Yes.
because she you know, there's always an opportunity. They said like, and she'll find her way, which she does.
Yep. And that is scene 34 of her sleeping with somebody.
Oh, well, one funny thing we forgot to mention in the scene when they let Salim go is when they're stealing the ice cream truck, and he goes, "You got to make it look bad," or whatever. He goes, "What? You look fine." He's like, "No, it means we have to rough him up." He's like, "It means I got to hit him." He's like, "Not you. I want her to hit me." He's like, "Trust me, you don't want her to hit you." But I also love like the size difference. Like Emily Browning is like so tiny compared to I forgot his first name, but Schreiber's like Liev Schreiber's brother, the guy who plays is it Rory or something, like I don't know his first name, but it's so funny their size difference. I love seeing that.
Pablo Schreiber is his name.
Pablo,
and,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like the size difference too. She's just definitely like not how I pictured Laura, so I'm still like trying to get over that. And the fact that they're kind of making her a different character kind of is helping, but
is it?
Yeah. But the coffee cup. I forgot I left this on my couch. It was attacking me. So okay, we're back in the ice cream truck, and again, I love that they're driving an ice cream truck because this actually would make sense. But Sweeney's cold, which is weird. You would think he'd be a little tougher.
Well, that's what she says to him. She's like what she said, like, toughen up, or stop being something like that. She says something like that.
I don't know. When I picture these people as like deities, I also picture them to have some sort of like weather resistance. Like I don't know where like because like he also got his face scratched by a glass bottle when like the shrapnel thing happened. So when does it end?
Corey is saying that this is exactly how he pitched to Laura. So
and Ashley comes in like a wrecking ball and just writes, "I hate Laura Moon" for her first one.
She came in like a wrecking ball. So they're driving, and then the Easter Bunny shows up. I'm guessing it's the Easter Bunny because we've seen all these promo shots for Easter, and there's only one episode left, and this would be the easiest way to connect them. So
that's what I was gonna say. Was that the Easter Bunny? Because I know the next episode's about Easter, and there was a bunny, and you know how what happens with the crow and the scene that we're gonna see in a few minutes. Talk about in a few minutes. This might have been a second attempt because, like, remember when he's talking to the crow, he's like, "I don't care if you don't like it or whatever." So meaning like Odin doesn't like what's going on here. So maybe Odin's taking another attempt at knocking this off course. You know?
Yeah, I have three thoughts on this. So it's either the first one, Easter, which seems like the easiest answer, and usually the easiest answer is the correct one. Or it could be a luck thing, because Sweeney, while Laura does have the coin, she doesn't manifest luck. The power manifests much differently with her, physical ability. Like Sweeney doesn't have that physical ability when he has the coin. So the coin obviously translates differently to different people. So I was like, oh, maybe it's a luck thing because of a rabbit. I think Kimber brought that up when we were watching it. And then another one is we've also seen other things run into the road. And we don't know if that's got a Native American thing to do with it, because there is the buffalo and they do have like talking about nature and stuff like that. So those are my 3 theories. I think the most realistic one is the Easter one, though. I don't know why. I don't know what, because unless the next episode takes place during the car drive, because Odin hasn't met up with Easter yet. So
yeah, it could be concurrent scene though. That's the thing. Like, I need a favor.
It's possible, but I would hate to see the same scene again next week. I just hate that. All right, so we see a war, and he sees his death in the flame. What am I talking about here? Flies out. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I guess he like kind of describes his story, and where or who describes it. Does he say it? I'm trying to remember. I didn't write who's
For which part?
Where when he's discussing, that he saw his death in the flames.
He's telling that story to Essie while they're both locked up.
That's what it was. Okay. Because it cuts back to the prison.
Yeah.
So yeah, he describes his origin, which again I think was pretty spot on. He walked away from war. He became essentially cursed. He flew away, which in some mythologies, Matt Sweeney does turn into a bird. So cool. I think like they nailed. It's cool because as far as like nailing an abstract character, which you don't really have to, because no one's gonna know if you screw up Matt Sweeney's origin story. If you go and you screw up Zeus's origin story, people are gonna know because that's a more common one. But it's kind of cool that there's still like it still sticks so close to the actual story it's based upon. I don't know.
Well, does the book do it? Does the book do it, the origin story justice too, or is it not mentioned?
It does it, but it's more coy about it because we already are learning stuff in the show that it takes a long time to learn in the book. So it's more coy. There's more like allusions. You know what I mean? Like they'll be like, "Oh, and Matt Sweeney took off like a bird." You know what I mean? Like it won't be actual information laid out like this. But Ryan Gosling is amazing, and I love his band.
I just said the same thing.
And I love you. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. The best part of this episode was definitely the lore. So
They swerve to avoid the bunny, right? That's where you're.
Yeah. Did I just not write that down? I don't know. I was getting mad at a certain point, so I did stop taking notes. So back to the ice cream truck. It flips. We see, I was gonna call her Essie, Laura thrown out of the window, and like the glass rips her stitches, and the coin just goes and rolls away. And Sweeney gets out of the thing, and he tracks down the coin, and then he kind of has a flashback. Cal, do you want to talk about this flashback?
So very, very Lost-esque. There's a flashback where we see the I guess it's a scene where Laura's giving what's his name? Joe was his name Joe? I forgot his name. Robbie, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Robbie.
Yeah, Dane Cook's character head in the car, roadhead, and then you see a oncoming truck come, and that's what causes a swerve and her to get thrown out, and you see the truck stop, and you see somebody walking up in the back, and you just see her like laying there dead, and then it zooms out, and it's Mad Sweeney that caused the accident, and then he looks up to the crow and says, "Tell him it's done," and that's how the scene kind of ends. So
yeah, I don't remember, and I don't know. I don't know why I don't remember, but I can't recall if Mad Sweeney actually is responsible in the books. If not, I thought the way they framed the shot was at least interesting. How he's literally involved with another crash with her.
Dead wife seems harsher.
Dead wife does seem harsher, and all the thing like he was kind of making some faces and stuff when she was talking about like her death and stuff like that. So now we kind of realize he's been carrying kind of a weight. I don't think he has a problem with killing people. I think them coming back and like kind of befriending them, and maybe they're not friends.
Do you think he'll tell her?
No, but they don't really cross paths in the book, but I think in the show, when she finds out, if she finds out, it's not going to end well.
So I mean, this pretty much tells you that Odin had a huge scheme, like from the beginning, and he knew that this is the way to get Shadow. Because remember, like he's always saying, like he needs your man. He's Odin. He's Wednesday's man. I keep saying like that's the way Sweeney phrases it to Laura, saying like he's Wednesday's man. Like he needs him. He needs him. There's a reason why he picked Shadow. And like I know you didn't tell me yet, or I haven't looked at the credits about the guy who's in the prison, so that could also play a role into Odin's scheme. I don't know yet. I don't want to know yet, but I'm like that's what I'm predicting. Like getting into all this.
Well, even the circumstances of him getting arrested were weird. You know what I mean? Because he
we don't know that.
We don't know exactly what happened, and I don't know if they'll tell us because in the books he just robs a VHS repair store, and they don't have those here anymore. So at least that I know of.
I think we're gonna find out because that's the whole thing. They're like, what went wrong? What it was perfect? What could have went wrong? So they have to like it's gonna have somehow link back to Odin as well. I think somehow. Then you'll see that he had a whole grand scheme.
I think Odin is way more involved than they're letting on. But I think again they're slowly peeling back. You know what I mean? The facade. So that's cool. So he goes and he actually puts the coin back in her. I think he thinks about Essie or whatever, which is convenient. And he puts the coin back in her, and she gets all embarrassed, and covers herself up. And then
she the first thing she gets to punch him, like not realizing that he's the one who saved her, right? Or does she know that does he know that she died? Does she know that she died? Again.
Oh yeah, I think. I mean, it's not like I think she could be dead and the coin will work because she was dead when the coin showed up the first time. I did like the little like graphic they did, like it burning through her like sternum. I thought that was cool. But yeah, I think like I don't know exactly, but I think so.
But so do you think she has any idea that he's the one who kind of brought her back again?
No,
that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
My bad. I think I misunderstood you. No, I don't think she has any inkling. I think she's too wrapped up on, maybe not taking responsibility, but knowing that it was probably her fault that the accident happened, because that's distracting, I would assume. Also, if Robbie's so big, how come we didn't see her choking on anything?
Right.
She was like, and that was more of like her neck being broken than anything.
Well, didn't they find it in her mouth? That's the thing. They found her in her mouth when she was dead, right?
But if it's so big,
right? That's what I'm saying. They should have been in her mouth.
Like how big? Her mouth isn't that big.
I think you're overthinking.
Am I overthinking it? Because they pointed it out.
I think they don't want to. Like, do we really need to see this girl choking on a dick? Like,
if you're gonna show me it, don't talk about it the entire time. Then don't show me. Show me it from behind or something. Don't like talk about it and then show me something else. It's continuity. Like, I don't necessarily want to see it.
So what you're saying is you do want to see Laura Moon choke on a cock.
Okay, no. What I'm saying is don't tell me that that's what happened and then show it and that's not what's happening. That means somebody's lying to me and I don't trust the show at all then.
Corey is saying he thinks that it was Shadow's perception of the dick, like it seemed bigger to him when he looked at it.
Shadow really need to worry about anything?
We don't know. We haven't heard about Shadow's dick.
I think it's probably fine. Anyway, that's dick talk.
Put down the shovel. Just stop, Joe says.
I will get my gold covered shovel tomorrow. That's a whole other show. It's a Twin Peaks reference. Yeah, so I don't remember. I think I got annoyed with this at this point, and I stopped writing notes. But after this, we see that SC can't really tell her stories anymore now she's older because she scares all the kids. But she doesn't and again, she ends up being older. She ends up marrying the owner of the plantation she's working on. I think it was like a tobacco farm, and they have some kids together, and she becomes a stepmother. And it was really convenient how she got that job. She happened to
be a wet nurse. Yeah,
to be a wet nurse. Yeah. So I like that because I feel like Sweeney or some kind of luck, you know what I mean, was responsible for all these things, even though they were kind of like, yeah, you're gonna have a comfortable life, but you're gonna have to deal with this guy.
So
Or yeah, you're gonna get out of prison and have like a fruit breakfast, but you're gonna have to deal with this guy.
I have a question about. So, you think she had any genuine feelings for any of these guys, or is there just a means to get out of her situation that she was in?
I think I think John. Yeah, I think she was using everybody, but I think with John by the end, she probably grew to at least have a mutual
to like her
response.
situation. I don't know if she loved this dude.
I don't know. I think he would like most dudes. I feel like in the 1700s would have seen her like putting out offerings in the wild and like had her burned at the stake. I don't think he
Right.
was that
So now, can you see that as a parallel to Laura, who's like living a terrible life in her mind? She wasn't happy with her life, and then Shadow comes along and she kind of latches onto him, and
like
marries him.
As love. Well, she did have love though in the beginning, but her suitor denied her. I don't know if Laura has gone through the same thing.
But do you think that's what the producers are trying to get at?
If they did, I didn't. Maybe. I don't want I feel like I'm being super negative about this show, but you have to understand the hype is real with me, and I don't know what they're doing. Like maybe they're just trying to space out episodes so they can do more than like 2 or 3 seasons. But like I feel like I have to rewatch the series just to like get back to the same pace for next week. It was very odd. So I'm glad that you just reaffirmed that I wouldn't like Lost though.
Well, Corey corrected me that it was 3 episodes from the last episode. So
yeah, but they didn't have 8 episodes to work with. I don't.
No, the final season was only was it like 13 episodes or something like that. I'm not sure, but
yeah, I don't know. I hope next week's at least interesting. I see Anasi in there.
Well, I have to say, I think that wrapping it up on this because the final scene I thought it was beautiful. The last scene between him and the older Essie McGowan or Tregowan, whatever you want to call her.
I feel like it was the ending of Titanic. You know what I mean? Where like she shows up and like Leo DiCaprio like takes her hand and like everyone from Titanic is there.
So it's just like 2 Leo movies. Gangs of New York.
It's with the Irish redheads.
I just like that conversation because, like, it was what you're saying. The wind blows both ways, and they mentioned that, and then he's like, "I don't have a quarrel with you, nor I with you," and he goes, "I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for people like, the very few people like you. I wouldn't have been in this country if it weren't for a few people like you, And I thought it was a really nice scene. At least that last scene, I really enjoyed a lot.
I'm sorry, Tina, that I don't like Lost, but yeah, again, I think there was some good dialogue, but like when half of that dialogue is delivered by a distracting accent that we know is fake, that like there's some like media this is the problem. We've seen someone in this show, and it just hit me. We've seen someone in the show who like has transformed and changed herself for these other roles. And these are iconic people who we would recognize. You know what I mean? Like, we can know if that person kind of looks like Lucille Ball or doesn't, or nails it. You know what I mean? And to take a fictional character and still not convince us that this is a different person is just kind of like they because they excel in some areas of the show so well. When they don't, it points it out.
So you think this episode could have been shortened and made into like maybe a bonus feature on the DVD? The story better.
I think
you'd rather seen like that.
I think we could have seen one scene with Odin and Shadow just to at least feel like they're getting somewhere, because even the episode before this, they're barely getting anywhere.
Right.
The book is a road trip, and that's why it's like, it's not like they're like hitting like hiccups. It's like they're like at road stops, and I'm like waiting for them for 3 episodes to get here.
Well, the weird thing about this was that they said I always read the description, it says that after one last time of seeing Shadow, then she goes on and moves on with her own thing. So she didn't even see Shadow this episode, which I thought was weird. So I'm guessing that's coming next episode. I don't know.
The episode beforehand, she sees him right as he's leaving with Odin, and Odin turns up the radio, so she gets left behind in the episode.
Oh, I get that. I thought that she was gonna meet him one more time in this episode.
No, I agree with you. Like, I think even I don't know, like there's just I also think if it was done with a different actress, it may not have felt as long. But Kimber is informing me now when we have been talking about this for 45 minutes. But yeah, that was a prayer for Matt Sweeney. Real quick, we'll talk about the preview for next week's episode, which we see Odin and Shadow show up to an Easter party.
Kristen Chenoweth.
Yeah, and it looks like a really weird look who's coming to dinner, because the media, or not media,
Mr. World
is also
Anansi.
there, and he's in the Matt Smith tuxedo from Doctor Who. So it's going to be interesting.
And Shadow goes back into the dream. You see him in the dream again. So
yes, I'm excited for that, because the whole time I've been preaching about how much I want to see these visualizations that they talk about in the book, and we've gotten very few. So I am excited about that. But it is the finale of the season, so I hope they step it up, and I'm excited.
do you think do you think it's gonna have a conclusive ending, or I mean, it's probably gonna have a cliffhanger, but do you think any of the stories are gonna be wrapped?
I think we're gonna, because they keep talking about it, I think we're gonna end up at House of the Rock, and then it's gonna be some kind of tense scene, and then we're gonna have to wait till next episode.
One last thing before we get callers in. Is that what you got? Is that what you and Candace predicted? As you said, you're telling her, I guess it's episode 3 or something, you're telling her they're probably gonna end the season on the mountain. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, but the way they got here was not the way I saw them doing it.
Okay.
And the only reason I said that was because it was confirmed that they were planning on ending episode 8 on House on the Rock.
Okay.
So they told that information ahead of time, and I don't know, but I'm gonna have Joe and Ashley come in first, because they are longtime OSP friends, family.
Does Kimber want to do the poll too as well?
Well, do you have the poll handy?
Yeah, I can pull that up.
So we're gonna get the poll ready, and I'm going to am I sending Ashley or Joe the invite? Let me know in the chat. I'm gonna also check out what's going on in the chat too.
And do Mac and Corey also want to get in?
Let's do Joe and Ashley first.
Yep. I just want to get a list if they want to do it, just so they know.
Yeah, I think there's only 2 groups of callers tonight.
Okay.
Tina
Joe says send it to him. He's calling from their phone.
Okay.
I have that poll when you're ready.
Kimber has the results of the poll. What was the theme of the poll?
My poll today said, did you like the choice that they made to have Emily Browning also play Essie McGowan? And people liked it. They chose yes, it was an interesting move at 78% of the votes. No one said that they didn't like it, which if I could vote on my own poll, I would have voted for no, it was distracting. 17% said they didn't hate it. They were kind of about it. And 6% said I hated it a lot. So
what are we
shout
hating?
out to my 6%.
My choice never wins, but I pulled. I didn't dislike it or whatever it was. The third one.
Yeah, it was weird for me.
Hey, Joe and Ashley.
Hello.
Are you glad you're caught up on the show?
Woohoo!
Yep.
And what episode did we catch up on?
Oh wait, so how do you come into this? You came in reading the books already, or?
I'm actually about this far in the book.
Okay.
We when we were landing, coming back from New York, we were listening to S.C. Tregowan's story, and I had listened to it once before, but Ashley started the book over, so we basically are listening to it together now.
Nice. Again, we'll show them the beautiful copy that they gifted Tom when they were here. We were showing it off last week too. It's really sweet.
So what did you guys think? Hi, Nichelle.
I was I was dreading this story because I was not a huge fan of it in the book because it's so long, and I was just like, can I get back to the actual plot?
Is it because like I don't remember it at all? Like it's been a few years since I've read the book.
It is significantly longer than the other Coming to America stories so far.
Wow.
Yeah, I kept waiting for them to go like, okay, like when are we gonna get to, like Joe was saying, when are we gonna get to the actual plot? And it just kept going and going. I'm like, are you really gonna do this whole story? Like I was like dreading.
They even cut stuff out of the story,
And
and it was
so
still
long.
painfully long.
Man, I do not remember it at
Well, now
all.
you can reread it because you have this nice book.
But that's what I'm also saying. Like, there's parts of the books that are super like impactful, and then like just to like focus on a part that I barely remember because it wasn't.
That's Corey was saying in the chat that some parts of the book are slow, so I think you're like just selectively.
Well,
editing,
and
maybe.
it's
Like a
interesting
badass
because
action movie.
everything's so out of sync right now. Like they do so much of the show to the book out of sync because where we are in the book, I don't think the new gods have made an appearance yet, except
No.
for Technical Boy.
Yeah,
No.
Candace was actually complaining about that because she's like been reading along and things are so out of order that she just had to like stop reading.
That's
let
kind of
the
where I
show
went until
go.
she started. Yeah.
So wait, is it?
Yeah.
It's like Essie is that like that significant of a character, or is it more for the sake of Mad Sweeney's origin story?
I wasn't even aware it was supposed to be Mad Sweeney's origin story initially.
We watched part of the featurette that goes along with it, and they said that like it was related to like how he came to America, but we didn't finish the featurette because we are gonna go watch something else. So
Yeah.
I think that's why they probably chose this one. It's like, okay, he's an important character, so we need to focus on this. But I think I would have liked to see more of like Wednesday and Shadow because it's like, where are they? Like, I want to know like what's going on. We just have this important thing with the Vulcan town, and
Yeah.
now it's like the road trip of, you know, these two characters, one of which I cannot stand. So it's very frustrating.
I just wish they would have focused on Sweeney. If like he's the
Right.
titular character of the episode and it's supposed to be his story, like I would have liked to see more of him because he is in my top favorite characters. I think he's really interesting.
I will.
Like if they showed him, like it would have been interesting if like they showed him showing up during like the over to America,
Yeah.
and he's just like in New York while all that's happening. Like, just like I would have like Sweeney's so interesting that I would have liked to see him be himself
Being badass would have
through
been nice.
all these
yeah.
different periods. So like him getting into a bar fight in like every era. Like I don't want to make it the Wolverine origins where he's
Yeah.
in every war. But how funny would it be if he's like in a brawl fight and like every time he gets hit, it's like a different period piece.
Well, maybe that's what they said because like it wasn't she saying like I don't have a quarrel with you. That's like one of the first things she says to him, meaning like maybe he is belligerent, but that's how he responds like nor I with you. So maybe he is known to be belligerent. We just don't see it. I guess you wanted to see it more, but I mean I agree. I want to see more Sweeney throughout the whole episode. That's the one thing I missed. Not seeing, but.
I mean, there's a whole thing like with like how he says that the wind blows both ways. Like the grandmothers or Essie's there, and she's like, I'm mixing the characters up because they're the same actress. Essie's there, and she's like, "Oh, I have no quarrel with you," because she would think that's the only reason a leprechaun would show up and like show his face is because it made them mad. And he's like, "Nope, I'm cool. I'm cool with you. Thanks."
He's
This
like,
could
I'm
be
not a fan. He's like, I'm not a big fan of this place, but you know, you didn't mean to cause me any harm, so why would I be mad?
Yeah.
This could be a sign from the gods, but my Ares God of War painting just fell off the wall, so I don't know what that means.
Nice.
Or it could be the
there's
extreme
war.
heat causing the glue on the back of the magnet to, but I'd like to believe it's of all my posters to fall down, or paintings.
I can translate it meaning two things, and I'm a fortune teller, so I know it. It's either commenting on how poorly Ares was done in Wonder Woman,
I was waiting
or that there is a whole murder of gods about to have a war.
Or maybe Tom was just trying to make a reference to fortune telling. Maybe you're a good fortune teller and you lie all the time.
You'll never know.
Where are you going?
I gotta get going to work soon, so you continue the conversation.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys didn't overall like the episode either?
What's up?
You guys didn't like the episode overall either, or or did you guys somewhat
I-
enjoy it?
It was very underwhelming compared to all of the other episodes where exciting things are happening or we're learning more about Shadow, and this one just kind of felt like we only have an 8-episode run, but here's a filler episode because we don't want to like give everything away just yet. It felt like a waste of an episode.
I actually enjoyed the episode that was super Laura centric more than this episode, because then at least we have stuff related to what's going on in the plot.
If they rearrange things in the story between Matt, Sweeney, and Laura, the present day, would you have enjoyed this episode more if it was placed earlier? If they showed the background of S.E. Trigao and all that earlier on, and Matt Sweeney's origin earlier on?
Not really.
Yeah, I don't, because again, if it was just be the same episode but just played earlier, I don't think it would have. I would have had the same issues with it because it just felt like a filler episode, and when you only have 8 episodes in a series, you shouldn't have a filler episode.
Well, at least to introduce the character of Matt Sweeney is what I mean. Like, introducing characters earlier on is probably better for the story as opposed to like how they did this for later. Not introducing characters, but explaining their story, maybe.
Yeah, if I could change like one thing to make this episode better, I would just have literally any other actress in the world play S.E. McGowan.
That would have helped
It was really
a lot.
weird, and I'm like, what? Is it like a reincarnation thing? Why is she this, like, it was bizarre to me and unexplained, and I don't, like, it didn't work for me. That would be my thing I would change.
Well, Nichelle's agreeing with me. She says she would have liked this episode a lot better if it had been episode 4. So, I mean, she sees that logic where it's like, I guess earlier on, if they were just doing origin stories, it might have worked out better.
Maybe. In general, I did not like this scene in the book because it stretched out way too long, and it was the same situation in this. I would have liked it if it was only half the episode as opposed to the bulk of the episode.
Or just like a regular Coming to America.
Yeah, first 5 to 10 minutes maybe.
Keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, I think they easily could have said what they had to say. Again, I did like how heavy they got into the lore, because they explained the Fae really well, but at the same time, that's my job. I explain the mythological aspects of the show.
I said it before, more lore, less Laura. That's all I'm
They
asking
could have,
for.
I think to make it so much better, they already cut some out of this story. They could have cut the whole thing about her returning to England after her first transportation out, and it would have been so much better.
I agree.
Like, she could have been caught, or when she first got busted by the person who owned the house, she could have then gone to America and met the guy in North Carolina and all that, or Virginia or wherever, and that could have been the story.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was, I don't know. There's just I could be wrong, but Joe, you said you're up to this point. Does Shadow have his side adventure before all this? The mystery in the town?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay, well, there's a mystery in a town somewhere, so look forward to that. But I didn't get too into it. It's so weird, like the order they're picking things to do, because I have no, like, I almost feel like I see all these people saying, oh, well, it's new to me, so I didn't read the book, like Tina just said, so it's all right. But I feel like I'm
reading the book hasn't helped.
Yeah, I'm at a disadvantage reading the book because I'm just like, what's going on? Like, at least in Game of Thrones, like, there are some aspects that go in the chronological order.
Two things. Like, I haven't read the books either yet. I plan to, especially now that we have, again, this one that Ashley and Joe got us. But I still feel like it's disappointing just because, like, I know people who love this book so much. Like, it's Tom's favorite book, and the show isn't, like, up to the level that I expected just hearing the rave reviews about the book and having read other books by this author. And the Game of Thrones thing, like, I would still recommend, if people haven't read the books, like, watch the show and then read the books, or at least watch up until, like, the last season and then read the books, because it has been more enjoyable reading the books afterwards, because the show does mess with things. And
that's cool, because I see you reading, you know what I mean, and I find out new things through her, and that's really cool. But that's like almost like you can watch the show and use the Game of Thrones books as like a compendium, like something to
earlier on. It definitely,
yeah, I guess because there's so much more to work with. It's a smaller scope, but I'm just saying it's just, you can't do that with American Gods. You're gonna be like,
yeah. Well, it does get like that on Game of Thrones, but not until much later on the show. Season 1 is like spot on. With
That's what.
the
Well,
that's
first
also-
episode.
season 1 as the main example.
That's also pulling from multiple books for the entirety of the whole show. This is literally what we got. What was it said? 3 seasons for 1 book right now, and that's some crazy pulling right there. I mean, they can do more from the book, and then they're deciding to change so much of it and move stuff around when they're already pulling so much from 1 book.
Like if they, because I know Neil Gaiman wrote other stories that he wants to include in this. The whole Mexican Jesus thing. That's another side story that he's inserting into the Game of Thrones, or I'm sorry, the American Gods universe, which it took place in to begin with, which is fine. I have no problem with that. But that should only work to service you if you're trying to extend the length of your show. You shouldn't have to dissect and make new storylines to get that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're running a little bit low on time. Thank you so much, Joe and Ashley, for coming by.
No problem.
And for also not liking Laura.
I'm sure when we do the season finale next week, we'll be able to talk about the series as a whole. We haven't been able to really talk to you about the other episodes yet, so hopefully we'll be able to get your insight on the whole series.
Sure.
Sounds good.
Anyway, we'll see you. Are you coming to Twin Peaks tomorrow?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh, we'll see you there. It's gonna be a damn fun episode.
Hello.
That's the opening.
I've heard about
The
you.
sign off.
All right, guys. See you later.
Hey guys.
Bye.
I think Corey and Mac want to get in, and I think that's it.
Yeah, we'll close up with Corey and Mac. I do have to get to work soon.
Love those guys though.
Who,
Ashley and Joe, they're the bee's knees.
they're all right.
They're the cat's pajamas.
For anyone who has heard us talking about the Wizard World, the Philly trip, I have just put a gallery up at oddshapechannel.com.
And some fun gifts.
There's some fun gifts up there too, so check those out. But he's doing the hand. Yeah,
It's my favorite one.
check that out, and Q&A on Monday. We'll be talking about the Philly trip too. How's it going, Mac?
Oh, I'm off? Crap. Oh, dang it. Oh, what's up, everybody? How you doing?
Doing
Good.
good. How are you?
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing good. Just sitting here chilling, watching some American Gods. So you want me to talk about it, or?
Yeah,
Well,
go for it.
I would rather talk about Kingdom Hearts 3. What do you think?
I've been watching the entire E3 this entire weekend, and it's my job, and I'm literally putting down the top 10 list, and I'm hoping they're not screwing with me on Kingdom Hearts. I'm sitting there like, don't you dare screw me with this crap. I'm pissed off with that. So yeah.
So, I'm going to be writing an article where Oddblock is going to be doing a bunch of E3 articles. So look forward to that. I'm going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts 2. But
Yeah.
let's talk about American Gods, since that's the focus of the show.
Yep. Exactly. All right.
What do you think?
This episode really intrigued me a little bit. What's up, Corey? Yeah, buddy.
I am back.
Yes. This episode really intrigued me because when I watched it, I was like, okay, we're getting the Matt Sweeney background story, and then when it began, I was like, okay, so she's gonna steal an ice cream truck, and it's funny that she stole the ice cream truck. She's dead, and it's to get rid of the flies, and she's like, it's like she's in a morgue. I kind of like that. I love that that joke that she just like wanted to do that, and the fact that when my favorite part was when she was like, "Hey, I'm stealing your truck because I always wanted to steal one," and she was like, he was like, it ain't gonna look right. He said, "You need to punch me. I'd rather her punch me." He was like, please, Lassie.
No, you wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't, Lassie. Let me punch you. So I was sitting there thinking, like, yeah, he'll punch her head off, and it'll be like Mortal Kombat, and I'll be awesome. But yeah, I love Emily Browning as that character. I like the fact she played 2 ways because it showed her range a little bit. Because I don't know if she was born in England, but that English accent is pretty doggone good. Because she showed her range in that episode, and I thought she played that well.
Well, I think the problem is she was supposed to be doing an Irish accent.
Yeah,
That is the point.
that is the point. Yeah, I got mad about that a little bit, but other than that, I mean, I can't even do an Irish accent because I mean I'm from the South and I can't even do a Irish accent. It's not easy to do it. It's easy to do an Irish accent because I am from Scotland and all. It's hard to do that. So um, it's really tough. It's amazing that she showed that range, and I enjoyed that, but I like the fact that the reveal at the end that it was where I thought when that coin was out of her body, I was like, Matt Sweeney gonna like take the coin and leave, and then he just thought about something. I thought she remembered her past self, like from the old days where she was younger, and I thought that was her successor, but then it turned out that it was her that it was he that killed her.
How did that
So
make you feel?
it broke my heart. But then again, I thought,
Well,
yeah, it's Matt Sweeney. So, um, and after all of that, I felt like I do agree with Ashley and a lot of people. This episode was just too long on the teeth about Laura. I feel like a little bit of Laura is good, but a lot of Laura is bad. I wanted to see a shadow. It made me, I hate to say it, it made me long for Shadow Moon.
I got a quick question about what you just asked Mac, how he felt about that. What made Matt Sweeney do it though? Like, does Odin have something over him? Like, what is it? Why is he like Odin's little errand boy? Like, that's what, like, we got to get to too.
That's a good question.
Explained.
Yeah, I think that'll be explained in the season finale because he starts talking to Laura about what's going on. I saw the end credits and she's like, "You don't know these people, and they're going together to get your husband to do something." It's like he's telling Laura why he's doing it, and I think we're gonna see in season finale because I've seen the end credits and I was like, "That, yeah." Now he's gonna explain why.
Right. So I'm saying we're probably gonna get to that hopefully.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. I think we are, but
What did you think about the episode, Corey?
Well, I kind of knew this was coming because I had just read the book. Like, I just finished it the other day. And he spends so much time on that story. I mean, so much time that you can tell that it means something to him. Like Neil Gaiman, this story is like really important to him. So as soon as I saw that that's what they were doing in this episode, I'm like, okay, this is going to be the whole episode because this story is so long. But it's somehow thematically tied into what the book's about. And so I was like, okay, well, we can do this, I guess. And I actually liked it a bit more. I mean, I like looking at stuff. It sometimes is more interesting than reading it. And in this case, because there are big stretches of American Gods, the book, that are kind of dull. Not bad, just not a lot happens. That whole thing that you keep mentioning with the murder mystery in the town and all that, that's 100 pages I could gladly unread.
Well, that's one of my favorite parts of the book. It's weird. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like not the target audience for the show because for some people they're loving the parts that they aren't like hitting, and I'm just like, give me the parts that I want in the order that I want it.
Wait a minute. There's a murder mystery in this thing.
That's why book readers are like,
Oh,
there's just, and that's not even like there's so many like different. Like it breaks into like little genre. Like we already got like a little bit of like a heist like con thing. You know what I mean? Back in it, like there's a lot of like little like genre breakers like popped into the book. So it's really interesting. And that's like another reason why I was so excited for the show because I love like when things break out of genres or like pay homage to. But I mean, I need to relax about it.
I did have one thing that I noticed, like Mr. World, like doesn't show up until the end of the book, and then I realized, if there's going to be 3 seasons, that makes this Act 1, and you really don't want to wait to meet your villain until Act 3. So they're doing a lot of this to fill in structural problems.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I mean, and there's
agree
nothing.
with
There's
it.
nothing that said. There's nothing that says that Laura and Matt Sweeney couldn't have gone off and had an adventure when she's not in the story. I mean, it's totally thinkable that yeah, they might have been traveling together.
But a lot of
Yeah.
stories they allude to a big bad, like a really bad evil, and they don't bring them into like later in a few seasons later. So they could have done that, but I see what you're saying,
Yeah.
Corey.
Yeah, just from structure.
Or
I mean,
even-
I'm going by pure story structure here. if
I
remember,
agree.
yeah, remember Billy Wilder's thing that if you have a problem in Act 3, your problem's not in Act 3. Your problem's in Act 1.
I just lost my thought, but it was hilarious. I guarantee you.
I was thinking. I'm just speaking off the wall because this is what I always do. I was just wondering. This show was missing an actor, and I was like, this show would be very, very good. And I'm not talking about Kevin Hart. I am talking about this show is.
Could have been Chris Rock.
I really would love this. Yeah, Chris Rock would be awesome in this. No, I'm just playing. I was really wanting to see James Woods in this somehow. I really wanted to see James Woods. I don't know why. I really wanted to see James Woods in this show somehow.
He's actually coming up later. He's the one who picks up all the ice cream bars on the street. He goes, "Ooh, ice cream bar." Picks it up. "Ooh, ice cream bar."
Yes.
Well, it's like
I
was thinking we need Jeremy Davies in here, and then he turned up on another show that we do a recap on.
I just want. I just want. This is what I'm picturing. I just want James Woods like just walking the streets, and then all of a sudden somebody pours some gasoline. He was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then all of a sudden he just set on fire, and the fire just dancing around with him, and he just acting like Hades from Hercules. And I just want to see that. So, yeah, I am a weird guy. I really want to see this. So yeah.
So let's wrap it up with Mac's weekly segment of recasting the entire show of American Gods. I just want to ask you a quick question, Mac.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the Japanese trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3? Because I'm convinced that's James Woods speaking Japanese as Hades.
Oh yeah.
Like the guy's voice.
Yes, I was like, is that James Woods speaking Japanese? I was like, James Woods, you are awesome. Why is he not in anymore? Acting things. I love James Woods. James Woods, I hope he lives forever. That man is awesome.
Let's do a quick round of plugs, and then we gotta get out of here because Joe and Ashley already signed off. I will do a plug for them. They just did their BFF Extra, which focused on some of their favorite Harrison Ford roles in response to watching regarding Henry because fan fiction. Check that out over at the Tough channel. And Cal, I know you just did something recently.
Yeah, we just did our I can't remember, Extreme Rules recap last week on Aftermath. Now next week on Monday we're gonna have our Money in the Bank Aftermath recap. So right before Ache panel, the Philly edition, we're gonna do our 7:00 show. Me, Delisha, and Eric, hopefully, and we'll also have an Aftermath report card coming up as well. And then we're only a few weeks. Oh wait, yeah, keep going. I'm gonna have to get something out too. So give me a second. You go ahead and.
Okay.
Yeah. So go ahead, Mac.
Well, y'all can catch me at the Game Fixers channel. Co-follow me at Tampa Bay Buck Fan 88. I got a lot of things. Tampa Buck Fan 88. Yeah, that got me, Corey. I was what I did this week. Today I just released Kingdom Hearts. I did a gameplay on Kingdom Hearts 1. It was awesome, so go watch it. I just went through the deep jungle of Tarzan. No, did I? No. I just got through. It's the rat. No, it is the deep jungle of Tarzan. So I just got through the deep jungle of Tarzan. This Saturday I'm gonna go through Traverse Town, I guess, again. So look for that. Also, Tuesday and Thursday and Friday, I'm going to be doing theater reactions on. One is going to be on Fast and the Furious, and one is going to be on Lego Batman. So we're getting the best of both worlds. And Monday, I'm going to do a book theory, and then Tuesday, I'm going to not only do the Kingdom Hearts thing, I'm going to be doing my recap on the top 10 games I'm looking forward to on E3. I just watched E3 this weekend. I mean, the top 10 list of games I'm looking forward to and top 10 games I'm not looking forward to. I'll just go ahead and tell you which game. One of the games I'm looking forward to is Wolfenstein 2. I am literally looking forward to Wolfenstein 2. That's gonna be an awesome game. So if you haven't seen it, go see the trailer for that. It's awesome. It's violent, people. So just to let you know. And also, we got the Tech Podcast. We got Corey back up this week. We were dormant a little bit, but we're back. We're back, baby. We're back. Right, Corey?
Yeah, come check us out on Twitter at Tech Podcast 1, and we're going to be restarting that whole thing because my laptop did die and has since been resurrected, but it's still running like a cow a little bit. But I'm happy to have it back, and we'll be back. We'll be back this Saturday with our newest Patreon post.
Great.
Oh.
Well, it was great hearing from all of you. Cal, I know you got one thing to shout out real quick.
Yeah, so as you guys know, Game of Thrones is coming back, and as promised on my Twitter, we're going to reveal one item for the Night's Box, which is our first ever giveaway for the Night's Watch. And the first item, you can't have the Night's Watch without Jon Snow. So you're going to get a Jon Snow pop figure. So we'll give you how to enter to win this on the premiere of Night's Watch on July 13th or whatever, 14th or 15th, whatever it is, the Friday before the season premiere. But the next item will be revealed next week on American Odds season finale.
Yes, and we're also doing a couple more YouTube giveaways coming up. We have two themes. One of them is just a channel theme, something from each of our shows. There might be a Twin Peaks something. There might be a Game of Thrones something. There might be whatever. And another one is for our upcoming space opera episode. It's going to be like a space opera box. It doesn't say
Space Opera 1? Cool.
So that's happening. I would like to thank everyone for joining us on this episode of American Odds, and we'll see you next week for the finale, 9 o'clock Eastern Central Time. Bye.
See ya.
Bye now.